Welcome to the USTA National Campus Spring Break Tennis. Live here today we have St. Olaf College and Whitworth University. I'm Paul Walker along with Joe Wallen. We'll be picking up coverage here momentarily as you get a great look at the USTA National Campus. Over on Court 1, Joe, we have #1 doubles here at Division III tennis between the Olaf College girls and the Whitworth University.
Difficult day today. The conditions a little bit windy. We had some heavy rain this morning and now just a heavy amount of wind. So it'll be interesting to see how these girls adapt to the wind.
Yeah, it's going to take a little time for them. On court number 7 here, in the #1 doubles for St. Olaf, we have Sabrina Barbosa and Greta Prokosh. And they are playing against Erica Lee and Emma Jo Wiley. First game went to the Whitworth Pirates. And we're now picking up action in game number 2. It is going to take at least that first changeover for these girls to kind of have a feel for what's going on out here today, Joe. Absolutely.
I was talking to the Olaf coach, Scott Nesbitt, a little before the match, and this is only their second match outdoors since October. Welcome to outdoor tennis, right?
Blustery, Florida. Yeah, that is a tough transition. So it's really like two different sports, going from indoors where everything's clean and neat and tidy, and getting out here in these conditions, dealing with some sun, dealing with heavy wind today. But I would say that the girls are happy to be in Florida from Minnesota and from all the way out there in Spokane, Washington, on their spring break tennis journey. One of the great things that's been happening here at the National Campus this year is spring break tennis that's been going on for about 4 weeks. And we've had over 300 teams in town from all over the country. I think we've covered all 48 contiguous states here. I think we didn't get anybody from Alaska and Hawaii yet this year, but they came in from all over the country.
Yeah, it's been busy in the campus, especially when it rained and everyone was in the lobby. Got the racket bar, had a couple of games set up where they could hit balls in little buckets and got prizes, so that was nice. And you knew when they did it because there was a huge crowd that were just roaring when they did it.
Well, there's never any lack of enthusiasm in collegiate tennis, and so these boys and girls bring a lot of that. And so we're really just excited for them today to be here, fired up for their match. We're looking at the score, 30-all in game number 2 on court number 1.
So, Paul, can you talk to me a little bit about D3 and the format that they play? We know that's a little bit different. College has obviously changed a lot in the last couple of years, but with D3, what kind of format do they play? Yeah,
there's been a lot of movement in collegiate tennis with the format. Kind of D1 setting the tone with kind of shrinking things down, going with a 6-game set in the doubles, no ad scoring. And just this past year, or just this year, Division II has moved into that same scoring format. So those two divisions are on the same page. Division III is a little bit different right now, as these girls and boys will be playing a pro set with regular scoring. So that means up to 8 games, win by 2, tiebreaker at 8-all, and again with regular scoring, deuces and ads, full scoring involved. So it makes for a little bit longer match, but I think the players like getting a little bit extra tennis involved in it. The format in D1 and D2 is really meant to accelerate and kind of just really move those matches along. Some of those matches used to take upwards of 4, sometimes 5 hours, and that's just a lot of time for those collegiate athletes to be away from the classroom, away from their desks, and actually the academics. So they're looking to kind of speed things up a little bit.
Long second game on court number 7 here on #1 doubles. I've gone back and forth, as you just mentioned. They do play ad scoring here, so a little bit different. Adapting to the wind, it's a little bit swirly, but definitely coming towards us. So the girl that's serving right now, lefty, needs to probably put a little bit more spin on it. And Sabrina can step in and flatten this ball out, hitting against the wind.
And they didn't make it easy on us. They got the black, all black from St. Olaf, and the black and the white from Whitworth University. So if you're watching at home, and that's how you're going to try to keep track of the two teams, if they got a white skirt on, that's Whitworth. All black goes to St. Olaf. Ready to play the deuce point on court number 7, the number 1 doubles. Just back. So that'll give the advantage to St. Olaf as they try to even this score at 1 game all in the doubles. It's going back to deuce with a beautiful return of serve there. And with a nice return of serve there and the unforced error by St. Olaf, it's over to add out. And what I believe is a correction, Joe, I think I may have misspoke earlier. I think this is the 3rd game of the doubles set here, as she inches closer to that hash mark and quite possibly was looking at a little bit of a foot fault there. But nobody to call that.
Looks like right now that Whitworth is adjusting a little bit better to the wind, have a little bit more consistency in their game. Always feel that, you know, if you're a big hitter with lots of big shots in the wind, it's actually harder to play. It's a little bit easier when you're a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, it's those people that tend to move the feet a little bit more grounded, stay a little bit more engaged for a little bit longer. Can't set up too early here in the wind.
Again, Erica that's playing there on the deuce side for Whitworth. Doesn't have a huge amount of pace, but just very smart, just putting that ball into play. I believe that's 3-0 for Whitworth.
Off to a good start. Kind of have, like you said, they're the ones that seem to have adjusted a little bit earlier, a little bit quicker.
Paul, what would you suggest when you're in the wind? You think which end do you think is easier, when the wind's behind you or when the wind's against you?
Yeah, it kind of depends on your playing style there. I mean, if you're a pure hitter, drive the ball flat, you can drive through that wind if it's in your face a little bit. But if you're someone that plays with a lot of spin, you can just utilize that spin to crank that up and let the wind work for you a little bit and help you get a little depth and a little bit power behind the ball. So just kind of depends a little bit on your playing style. So we'll see right here as Whitworth gets ready to serve into the wind if they can kind of plow through that, and if the girls on the other side can control the ball with the wind at their back.
Have since St. Olaf already doing some Australian type doubles and also some signs behind the back, which you don't see all the time, but you do see some of it. Yeah,
it's a good indicator that they're playing a little bit higher level if they're kind of going to that length. It is very helpful. It'll definitely produce a better product on the doubles court if my partner knows where I'm supposed to be serving. We're looking at a shot on court number 8 of the number 2 doubles, not what you're seeing at home, but they've got a nice little I formation going right there. Nice job there by the St. Olaf number 2s, and back to action on court number 7. Erica Lee serving. First point of the 4th game.
Good try. She tried to poach a little bit. It's probably standing a little bit close to the net there, so she's not able to cut the angle too much. When you play doubles, it's important to start far enough back so then you can at least move forwards and cut the angle. If you start too close, you can't have anywhere to move but sideways, which is what happened on that last volley.
Yep, she's about as tight as you can get right now, right up there on the net. Oh, great first serve by Erica, forcing the return of serve error by Sabrina. And so we're 15 all here with a, I believe, correct score now on your screen of 3 games to love for Whitworth. 15 all in this 4th game of the 8-game pro set.
Paul, talk a little bit about when the serving team actually does do I or I formation or Australian or does signals. What does that do to the other team? Does it do anything to them?
Yeah, it's just mainly, I think it just disrupts any rhythm that the other team might have when teams tend to just go in a standard formation. That's pretty much a clear-cut cross-court return. So no real decision to be made there, and a lot of times players can really get their groove on their return going. But when you start mixing that up with some different formations, kind of makes them guess or have to make a little bit of a decision on that return of serve. And so that kind of just puts that added little decision piece in the process. So it does disrupt rhythm, that's for sure. And it allows the serving team to get their players kind of into different positions where their strengths might be better utilized at the net or at the baseline.
The other thing we just noticed that Cindy hit a second serve and it hit the tape. So in D1 and D2, I'm right in saying they play lets, correct?
Only D1 for sure across the board, and D2 men, but they're not doing that at the D2 women. So still a couple of things that are just different throughout the different divisions of collegiate tennis. And of course, as we mentioned, with all the teams that have come in and out of the campus over the course of the last month, we've seen it all from top flight Division I teams to some Division IIs and Division IIIs. It's just really a great program that's kind of become very prominent across the whole country. Hilton Head hosts a great spring break tennis now here in Orlando. For many years they've been doing it, and it's just something that's great for teams, especially out of the north and areas where you just can't get outside this time of year, to come down, get a little Florida sunshine. And I think you might have gotten a little heads up on what some of the teams are going to be doing over the course of the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had some friends that came down and played. I've got one that was in a D3 and the other one was in a D1, and they kind of all did the same thing. You know, they had a couple of matches. They didn't practice a huge amount. They actually, a lot of them drove. Obviously, these two teams, I would imagine, did not drive here.
Right.
But off the East Coast, they drove here, so it took a day to get down here. And then they practiced, played their matches. They were also not only just playing here on the national campus, but they were in other parts of Orlando also.
And St. Olaf on the board, Joe, with that first break of serve there in the fourth game to get to 3-1, and now serving 30 love. So maybe they're going to kind of settle down a little bit and get into this set. So we'll see how this continues to unfold. Sabrina serving there, the #1 player for St. Olaf. Recently named Conference Player of the Week, which was a great honor for her, I'm sure, and for the team, for the program. She had a great performance recently here in one of her #1 singles and doubles matches.
Again, Sabrina's partner there telling her where she wanted her to serve.
And a lot of times when they employ the alternate formation, once the partner misses the first serve, oftentimes they'll just kind of go back to a more traditional formation and kind of make sure that they know where that return is going.
Oh, good hands there, actually, from...
Was that Erica
Whitworth?
at the net?
Yeah, Erica. Great job there. Good hands. That ball hit the tape, but she was ready, kept her hands up in front of her.
Always a good sign of balance when they can take a lead cord and still maintain their balance and react to it with a good volley back. 30 all. Sabrina getting a little aggressive there with that forehand. Just kind of pushed it again. I think the wind had a little bit of something to do with that. Normally that might be a ball that she handles, but with these conditions, a little tougher today. Got to get a lot. You really just got to get a lot more conservative in your approach to the game in conditions like this, right, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to be going for a huge amount of angles. Definitely more solid, more. Even if it's in doubles, though, you still want to go more middle. More conservative. Really got to be aware. I think that's the other thing too. I think that if you're I say a smarter player, I don't know whether that's the right thing to say, but if you just hit as opposed to think, you know, the smarter players tend to do well too, because you got to be aware of which way the wind's blowing to be able to, you know, if the wind's going left to right, you got to understand that so you know that you can flatten it out or angle it off.
And here we are back to deuce. Sabrina looking to kind of get this game all back on serve here after 5. Slight poaching opportunity missed there by Greta as she kind of tried to make a good aggressive move, just left that volley short into the net. And it's Whitworth with a break opportunity to take a 4-1 lead, possibly. See, Sabrina's just, most of these serves that she's been missing have been long. I think it's just that little bit of added wind, and that ball just not coming down and in. Hasn't made that adjustment yet. And there's the winner down the middle, right? What's that old saying? Down the middle solves the riddle. It's just, it's a cliche, but it is a cliche
because you just said you just hit a winner down the middle, and most people wouldn't think of that, right?
Yeah.
So definitely.
Look how the court got opened up here. Look at the nice replay. The court's wide open. Look at the big gap between the two players. High percentage shot. Beautifully executed by Sabrina.
And it also landed the service box. Can't get more high percentage than that.
Not really. That's how you get to be player of the week in your conference. Shots like that. And after a first serve in, it's St. Olaf with the advantage. A chance to go to 2-3. On the changeover, they'd like to settle this thing down a little bit.
Again, doing I formation. I always feel that I formation is making your opponent hit to where they don't want to hit. Just like
there
that.
It was, right there. Perfect serve on the back of the line. And an easy volley winner for the game. And we go to the changeover with Whitworth up 3-2. Now we're settling in for a real match. I got a good feeling about this one.
Good poach right there. Again, I formation, you know, the player on the ad side here really forces them to go down the line 9 times out of 10. And it's hard to change the direction. I mean, if you're taking the ball down the line off a serve, you are changing the direction of the ball. So not always possible. And she was in a great position. Found out a little bit about Greta today.
Oh, good.
A little bit of gossip about her, or news, I should say. Her brother actually plays on the men's team,
right,
and her sister's going there next year. So very much a family affair.
Yeah. Well, I was looking on the rosters, and certainly for both teams, there is a lot of home cooking. I mean, so for St. Olaf's, it's a lot of girls from Minnesota and a few from Wisconsin, but mainly from that region. And also for Whitworth, it's a lot of folks from Washington State, a few from Oregon, a few from Idaho. So right in that region, I think these schools, which are really well known regionally, maybe not so well known nationally, but regionally they are outstanding academic schools. Both of them have great reputations, and I'm sure they are really something that these kids aspire to go to, with many family members having probably attended there over the years.
Yeah, and St. Olaf's #1, Sabrina, is actually from Texas. So
a little bit of a transplant.
That's a little bit of a transplant there.
Right. We'll be curious to get with her at some point maybe and ask about what it was that took a girl from Texas out of the big state and took her up north to Minnesota. Great point right there with Whitworth coming out ahead after a nice rally, one of the better rallies we've seen so far. A lot of the points have kind of ended quickly so far today, but that one was a little bit more of an extended rally. Early lead in the 6th game of the pro set. Might be the boys in a little cheer behind us getting ready to go into the singles portion of their match. I think they probably already wrapped up their doubles portion. And so now that's just them getting ready to go out and play some ink singles. $15 all. A let call there.
Pulled up on that forehand a little bit.
Yeah, backed off that a little bit, didn't she? Yep. And again, that's kind of part of the conditions, Gaze. You just confidence, your willingness to just swing out or anything like that when you're having to control the ball. A lot more difficult today on a day like today. So a little bit tentative there with that forehand. There's the unforced error by Sabrina. I know she's not happy about that one, but her partner gives her the old "don't worry about it, partner." Shrug, little hand slap, a couple of smiles, back to work. That's always a good sign of a doubles team there, when they can make an error and smile and laugh it off a little bit versus getting a little bit frustrated and a little bit tense. So good to see the girls going through that process.
Paul, let me ask you a little bit about the transition from juniors to collegiate. You know, when you're a junior, I know doubles, you have your doubles partner, but you're definitely not part of a team, right? I think there's a couple big aspects. You're not part of a team, and then when you are part of it, like if you have a private coach, in a junior, if you think about it, the private coach works for you. When you go off to college, right, you're sharing that private coach with what, like 8, 10 other girls?
Easily.
And but then on the other side of it, then you've got 8 or 10 other people to support you through your career. And I know a lot of kids that I worked with go through that. You know, they miss that one-on-one time with their coaches, but then they obviously, you know, have such a wonderful sisterhood, brotherhood with their teammates.
Yeah, I've been coaching college tennis for the last 4 years, and it is just really one of the great environments, I think. And it is extremely different from junior tennis. I mean, junior tennis, it is all about the individual. You know, the old saying, there is no I in team. Well, there's I in junior tennis, but there is no I in collegiate tennis. You got to get on board with the team philosophy. Might be a different coaching style from what you're used to at home, as you mentioned, and that coach has got to kind of do the best for the team, not necessarily what's best for you as an individual, but always has to put the team needs first. And that can be an adjustment, but I think most players make that adjustment pretty quickly, although it can be tough for some. But boy, when you see it come together like that, Joe, when you do see a team come together, there's nothing better. And I think these girls and the boys on the other side will certainly cherish these years in their collegiate time as some of the best times of their lives.
You know, we have had, as you spoke about, over 300 college matches on campus in the last 4 weeks. And the one that comes to my mind, and I was not a part of it, I'm very disappointed. I helped set up some stuff before, but was the Army Air Force match. And I saw pictures, and I heard so many amazing things about that. When you talk about camaraderie and you talk about there's no I in team, that embodies it, right? Those group of people just embody that on a daily basis. I was here for that match, fortunate enough to come up from my hometown over in Lakeland, Florida. Brought my wife, who happens to be a West Point graduate, so she was here to root on her Army Knights. And there are no greater rivalries than that of the service academies, whether it's Army Air Force or Army Navy, as we all know. And that bleeds over just from, beyond football. Those rivalries are great. And so to see those two teams come to the national campus here, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance. There was a flyover. It was really a spectacular day, and I think both of those teams, I talked to those coaches, and they said, yeah, it's the highlight of their year. Not likely that maybe either one of those programs will qualify for the NCAA. They don't know yet, but there's a lot of great tennis teams at Division I there that might prevent that. But they said for them, this was their NCAAs, just making this trip here to the national campus to play that match. So that's just really great to hear that kind of a report back from the coaches, how much that match meant to them. Oh, great smash by Erica there. Give the advantage to Whitworth. I must say that Erica Lee has I think the best footwork on the court by far, and that's why she's actually probably the most consistent player. She obviously doesn't have the biggest shots. She's not the biggest hitter out there, but she's the one that's out there making the least amount of unforced errors at this point. Good footwork. Oh, good get.
Oh,
that's a great point.
That is an unforced error there from, it looks like that was from Greta there, a little bit on the overzealous on the overhead there. She knows it.
Yeah, that was, I didn't think that Erica probably should have left that. She should have left that for a partner, but just the hustle right there and the footwork again helps her.
And so it's a 4-2 lead now for Whitworth as Greta prepares to serve and try to get this thing back on serve again.
How important is holding serve in women's tennis, Paul?
Well, I mean, it's probably not done as often as it is in men's tennis. I mean, we just know that the difference in the games between the men and the women are significant, and no more significant than in the service games. I mean, the boys bring the thunder on those serves, and it's really tough to break those guys. With the girls, not often is the case that they have those big booming serves, so there's a better opportunity for those returners to get some good looks, and you know, they tend to be great ground strokers, so that return to serve kind of becomes more of a weapon. And so I think there's a lot more breaks in the women's game than there is in the men's game, but these girls are still looking to put some pretty big serves in there, so we'll see if Greta can do that right now.
So you're actually thinking that, I always think that it's more important to hold on, actually, I would say break. Does that make sense? I'm not making any sense of what I just said. It's more important to break serve than it is necessarily to hold serve. You break, and then you get broken, you're in trouble.
Well, I think in the totally makes sense. And I think sometimes after the first service game from each person, you tend to pick out who the A server is and who maybe the B server is. And we say, all right, we're going to deal with player A. She's got a pretty good serve. But player B, who seems to be a little weaker, we're going to break her all day. That's kind of the mentality I like to coach and say, listen, you know, we'll do what we can do against the top player, but boy, against that second player, we're just going to really look to break her all day long.
Good point there, especially Sabrina being very aggressive, taking a full advantage of her short ball.
Greta getting the signals from her partner, getting ready to go to work here. Oh, probably a poor choice there by Miss Erica to try to go at the line when Sabrina was pretty well established there. I think that's just a ball she should just roll back cross court with a lot of spin. Chose to go for the bigger, lower percentage shot and paid the price in the net. That's a good poach. Great poach there by Sabrina. I think that puts him into a 40-15. So Greta serving here, 40-15. The chance to continue to make this first set, keep this first set tight here. And that's a much better approach by Erica there, as she was just willing to stay in that cross-court rally till she got the unforced error by Greta. But it's still a 40-30 advantage to St. Olaf.
Paul, I'm impressed with the way that the girls are actually moving for doubles. They're really doing a good job of moving forwards and backwards. You know, you see a lot, especially in girls tennis, you see a lot of kind of just standing forwards and not moving with your eyes. But it as well, I always say doubles is a game for the eyes, and if you can move your eyes and see where your opponent is trying to hit to, it's always you're one step ahead.
And it is a hold of serve for St. Olaf. So on the changeover at 7 games, it's Whitworth 4 and St. Olaf 3. And we should say that in the way the doubles format works here, just for everybody who might not be aware already, so there's 3 doubles matches going on right now, Joe, and it will be what we call a combined doubles point. So whichever of these 2 teams wins 2 out of the 3 doubles matches will get a combined 1 point prior to going into the singles matches.
And I know that with some of them, once that point is decided, then they usually stop playing the doubles.
Guys. Good try.
I know they do with D1s. Sometimes I think with D3s they actually let them play.
Yeah, I think they've come a long way. I would be in the vote of letting them play as well. Let them finish up, get their full matches in here today. It's kind of a special occasion to be here at the national campus, and so let's not get cheated. Let's get as much tennis as we can, even on a windy day like today.
The weather's been a little strange today. It's nasty. It was kind of cloudy this morning and cool, and then had some rain come through. There was about 45 minutes east of here, there was massive amounts of hail. tornado warnings all around, and then it cleared up and has brought the wind and the coolness.
And we're back to action on court number 7, the number 1 doubles. It's going to be Erica Lee serving at 4-3. We rejoin that action. Just back for the first point. That's 15-love. Whitworth. The Pirates out of Spokane, Washington. It's a long way. That's a long diagonal to come from the state of Washington down here to Central Florida, Joe.
It is. Said they have been here the whole week playing some matches already. Going to Disney this weekend too.
I mean, it's almost against the law to come to Orlando and not go to Disney. I think there's isn't there like an ordinance or something?
Oh, don't say that, Paul.
No, I know it's.
Don't say that, because I've been here almost 3 years and have yet been to Disney.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I have 2 young kids. It's horrible.
You should put the mic down right now and just go get the kids out of school and go take them to the last part of the day at Disney.
Not right now.
That's really.
That's spring break time. No way.
Yeah,
we don't want to be anywhere near it.
That is actually a pretty remarkable statistic there.
I would say that Disney's made a lot of money this last month of spring break tennis as well.
Well, that's what they do. Among the many dreams that they create for young kids around this country and around the world, they make money. They do a good job at it. You know, but I always love everything that they do. Very professional, very first class. Great company. Their parks are clean and just wonderful. They put a lot of thought into the things they do over there.
Customer service is second to none. That's one of the things that when the national campus was opened here, we actually brought the Disney crew in and went through training as well from the Disney staff. So we also pride ourselves here on the national campus, and hopefully everything you said about Disney we can translate to the national campus with the cleanliness and the customer service, because we do pride ourselves on that here.
Yeah, they set the bar. I mean, they always have. I mean, that has been one of their trademarks. And so if we can replicate that here at the national campus, then I think we're doing a good job. And every time I've been over here, it's been nothing but that. Always smiles, always welcoming. So for you out there, if you haven't come, I like to call the national campus Orlando's newest theme park. And the theme is what, Joe?
I think it's tennis.
I know it's tennis.
I hope it's tennis.
Oh, it's
right?
definitely tennis.
I just wasn't sure if that was going to be a trick question.
No tricks there.
No?
It
Okay,
is. This is Orlando's newest theme park, and the theme is tennis. So come on out to the national campus. It's a public venue. There's always great tennis being played here, whether it's collegiate, pro, or just some recreational players out on the courts. It's just one of the great spots to be if you love the sport of tennis.
And I don't know the time frame for this. Hopefully within, I would say, 6 to 9 months, there will be a new resort being built here as well. We've actually got a pile of dirt to our right behind us. They're going to have, it's a resort-style hotel with a massive lagoon in it. I don't know about the lagoon with the gators.
Okay.
Oh, there's a likelihood that they'll be in there if they don't keep up on it, because they will get into pretty much any body of water other than a parking lot puddle in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I actually took a bike ride out to the lake by our house the other day and took the bridge down to out into the lake almost. And I was with a friend, and he's like, "Stop, don't move." And I thought there was a gator on the bridge, and I just about panicked. But it was actually in the water about 6. There's the construction, guys. That's what you're seeing right now on the monitor there. And there are dirt loads of, I can't even tell you how many weeks dirt has been going back and forth from those big trucks over to the other side. It's insane.
It is going to be a remarkable resort. I believe that lagoon that you referenced is going to be the biggest man-made lagoon in the country. So it's going to be something that's going to be just kind of unique, special, and what a great addition to kind of the perimeter here of the campus. Well, we're into a pretty intense game here as Whitworth is still attempting to get this hold here and extend their lead from 4-3 to 5-3, but St. Olaf is putting up the fight, getting the score back to deuce.
Another view there of the beautiful.
So what they're doing is they're taking those mounds, they're scraping that dirt off, and then they're compacting, and they're going to take those big mounds and just compact to lay that base down for that resort.
Didn't know you had engineering in your background too.
Construction 101, Joe.
Construction 101.
So it's advantage Whitworth here, as we mentioned. Erica Lee serving, trying to get this, keep that. They've kind of been able to keep that 2-game edge. They really haven't allowed St. Olaf to get up over the top of them at any one point throughout this match yet. And
great
there's
poach.
The hold. Clean and neat right there. Serve in, easy poach, 5-3 lead for Whitworth.
Sabrina not happy with her play here, going kind of threw her hands up and walked over to her coach to talk to him. I know that he had told me that she had been hurt a little bit. He didn't go into detail with what was the issue. He said they're taking her one match at a time right now, so I'm not sure if she's going to be playing the singles just yet.
I haven't noticed anything that stood out. She's running fine. She just seems to be swinging pretty effortlessly, so might be just something that's nagging her a little bit. So hopefully that she's able to get through it.
Maybe the shoulder. As I said, she hasn't flinched or done anything. She's not shaking any limbs out.
Agreed.
Not stretching anything.
It's okay, kid.
But if you do have an injury, this is not the best weather to be in. For, you know, sometimes you chase after balls. I actually hurt my rotator cuff when I was younger, chasing after a toss on a serve during a windy day. So you got to be really careful with that too.
Good attack by Olaf there. Sabrina following that short ball in, coming in behind it. Presented that united front at the net and forcing the unforced error from Whitworth. Yeah, we were worried about the rain earlier, but then I looked at the forecast and saw the wind advisories, and they talked about 20 to 25 mile per hour winds with gusts going to 30 to 35, just to give you guys at home who are watching and listening an idea what kind of winds we are dealing with here today.
Another good poach there.
Yeah, that's a nice move. She's had a couple of good ones like that. So all credit to Emma Jo for making those moves and finishing those points cleanly for Whitworth.
As I said, I'm really impressed with their doubles play and knowledge here. They've been really good position, lots of poaching. Court number 8 on number 2 has had some really, really good points. Very aggressive, good net points. I wouldn't say anyone's, well, they're not. I wouldn't not say it, but there are definitely there's no sub and volleying going on. We don't necessarily see that very much anymore in the women's game. We don't even see that on a pro level.
Here's a couple of break opportunities for Whitworth to extend their lead to 6-3. Widening that margin would be something they would really like to do, and St. Olaf would desperately like to get this to deuce and extend this game and continue to keep this thing close.
That's a great shot.
There's a nice ball down the line. A little frustration from St. Olaf, number 1. And it is 6-3 on the changeover now, with Whitworth having a chance to serve and inch closer to closing this first doubles match out.
So Paul, tell me, last time we were in the commentary booth together, we were commentating some wheelchair.
Right.
Tell me about what you do with wheelchair and your background in wheelchair tennis.
Well, here I am a national coach for the United States Tennis Association for wheelchair tennis, former wheelchair tennis player who then transitioned into coaching. I'm really fortunate to work with a great group of people here at the United States Tennis Association. Jason Harnett is our national manager of wheelchair tennis, and some really big exciting news here recently is that wheelchair tennis has just come in under the umbrella of player development here at USTA, and it's such an exciting time to see that wheelchair tennis is kind of making a nice move forward as we've come in under that umbrella leadership of Martin Blackman and Dr. Paul Lovers over there at Player Development. Formerly, it was you, Joe, as the director of community tennis and adult play that was leading the team of wheelchair tennis, and you still are have a major hand in wheelchair tennis, and so you can talk about your side of wheelchair tennis as Jason has now taken the side of player development, high performance, and our player development over there. But it's been just a lot of years of being involved in the sport, and so just my love of tennis, quite frankly, that keeps me coming back for more.
And I'm not sure I still know anything, but that's okay.
You're quick on the uptake, Joe. You know a lot. You're just being modest.
But no, I appreciate your help with everything too, and we're lucky to have you as part of our team. And then also with you as well. It's great to see the national campus, and we just came back from our annual meeting in Austin, Texas, and it was interesting because during the Kurt Camperman, who's our community CEO, community tennis CEO, he did a big presentation and said, you know, how important wheelchair has been part of the national campus and making it a diverse group, and seeing even having the video crew reach out to you to have you come in, that's a massive step too. And then hopefully at the US Open too, we can get some more visibility with some of our former players, and hopefully yourself doing some on-court interviews and being part of Net Generation Kids Days. So it's an exciting time for us right now.
It is. And it's an exciting time for Whitworth as they're serving 6-3 here on court number 7 at the #1 doubles, as these girls are all kind of just officially settling in now to their matches. And the pro set just allows it to go a little bit deeper. And as you look at the score there now, 6-3 Whitworth, that match would be over in D1 or D2. But now, it gives St. Olaf a chance to crawl back into this match. And over the years when I was coaching over Division II, in the past years where we were playing pro sets, not uncommon to get stuck here at, say, 6 and let a team kind of just get back in the match.
Two good returns there. Sabrina on the ad side just hit killer angle, backhand angle. It's a great shot, and then her partner Greta just there crushing that return. They need a good game right here. They 7-3. We talked about the important 7th game. We missed that, Paul. That was my big thing. I think you were like, oh gosh, don't ever talk about the 7th game. But obviously this game here, 7-3, 6-4, massive difference.
Yeah, they can get a little momentum swing going here with a game and then string another one. Not going to get that one.
Great hands
Great
again.
hands indeed. Yeah. Yeah, there've been some good exchanges, and it has been Whitworth that has come out a little bit ahead on most of those exchanges at the net. Just like you say, a little bit quicker on the feet. And,
as I said, Miss Lee down there keeping her hands really nice and high in front of her and far in front. A lot of players, when they're at the net, they kind of get too close and then they don't have good reaction time.
big gust blowing here as Emma Jo looks to put that second serve in. Well done.
Ooh, good eye there.
Okay, got it.
I love the fact that we're on court 2 right now. You've got Olaf's team trying to figure out the play site. I hope it's not a call that they're doing down there, but you know, that's one of the nice things about the campus too, is the amount of play site courts. So if anyone out there doesn't know what that is, I don't know whether we can get a shot of all the play site cameras, but on most of the courts, there's on a play site court, there's actually 5 cameras, if I'm right. There's 2 in each corner and 1 at the back. And basically it videotapes your match. You can do some really cool things there. My husband likes to go out and just hit and find out how many balls he can hit to a certain area. It tells you the how many revolutions per minute. It tells you how fast you're hitting it, and actually it also calls the lines. I can't say how good that is, because I've seen some pretty horrific calls there where it's miscalled it. And the other part that they can do too, you can log in to any play site court and then go back afterwards and have your match basically charted for you. So yeah, it's a nice addition. Over here we've got all 12 courts at the collegiate campus that have play site. So UCF, this is their home courts, so they use that a lot, and I'm sure it's helped them as well. All the technology that's come up in the last 5 to 10 years has been a big benefit for all of our players.
Yeah, analytics is in every sport now, and tennis is certainly one of them that is now just really revolving around the statistics and the analytics and the breakdown, just so singularly breaking down, when somebody serves to this location, what happens, and they get into the weeds with some of that stuff, but it is a big part of the game now at the highest levels in particular. Still Whitworth trying to close out this service game here. St. Olaf not going away without a fight, that's for sure. All credit to the girls down there continuing to battle.
Oh.
Great move by Sabrina there. She had it lined up. Just wanted to dump it cross court soft. Went a little too soft. Now she'll look to make the return to kind of get it back to deuce. Watch this move. You can see her lining it up. She's, took off and just tried to cut it a little bit too short there. Emma Joe with an attempt down the line. Rolls it kind of to the bottom of the net. And we're back to deuce once again.
I doubt that she would have done that if that was... if she was down a break point there. That was a little bit of a...
Take a rip.
Yeah, take a rip at it there. With the wind, not high percentage to do that.
Nice big lefty serve to the tee there to set things up, get it going. Our longest rally of the match.
Yeah. Smart from Whitworth. If she can just get it up a little bit higher and a little bit shorter, it'll go over this girl. So she's gonna have to take on the rise.
Tried to get a little bit more aggressive and really kind of crank one of those lobs up, but just pushed it a little bit long. But that was really a great rally. A lot of action going on there.
That's the problem with the wind as well. She tried to get it to do a little bit more with it, but when you do that, I mean, Emma Joe's definitely obviously rolls a little bit more, good lefty. She needed to go a little bit shorter, and the wind would have done the work for her.
We're going to try to get confirmation of who got the number 2 doubles point there, who got the win at the number 2. We've got the number 1s and the number 3 still slugging it out. The number 2 doubles has completed. So we'll see at some point if we can get word on who won that.
If I had to take an educated guess, I would say Whitworth won that one. That number 2 doubles was actually very, very solid. I think they're actually more solid than...
Oh, wow. What a shot there. Down the line winner to give St. Olaf a break opportunity. Just look at that. Just got it by. That might be the shot of the day so far.
Both staying back on this one. Interesting move right there.
A little bit different approach. I like it.
Actually, there.
Now Sabrina goes. And it's Erica Lee with the error in the net.
It's one of the very few times she actually didn't move her feet very well on that one. Kind of stopped and had to reach for that backhand volley, as opposed to those, I think, well, they were for me, they were always the hardest shots, those easier ones, because I just wanted to, I wanted to like smash it.
Yeah.
Good, but
so the racket gets going and the feet just kind of hang out, don't they?
Yeah.
But hey, that's a great break right there by St. Olaf. And we're at 6-4 now, and we'll see if they can get a hold and really get some momentum into this pro set. They've yet to kind of string 2 games together. It's just kind of been since the early lead by Whitworth. It's just been a little bit back and forth, but it hasn't been Olaf with an ability to string a couple games together.
Oh.
I'm thinking Sabrina would want that one back. That's a great poach, great move, forehand volley. No reason for her to put that one in the net. She knows it, and she's going to go back to work to get another one. Whitworth. Whitworth on the full attack there, following it in. Emma Jo following that one in, put her team up there at the net, and a little bit overzealous Sabrina attempting to go with the pass down the middle, puts it in the net. And it's Whitworth with a little bit of an edge here in this 11th game of this pro set. St. Olaf Oles, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing some cheers from down on the court to get a report what an Ole is.
I don't know.
I think it's just if you go to that school, you're an Ole, and that's all there is to it.
Ole, yeah. That makes sense.
So maybe it's something from their Norwegian heritage, from whence the school was founded, with some...
By a king, former king.
Yeah, named after, right? Yeah.
Correct.
King Olaf. King Olaf II, I believe, of Norway, if I...
Wow. Wow.
I may have read that somewhere.
You read that somewhere? That's pretty impressive.
Never met the man, Joe. Never met the man. Wow, Erica Lee with the beautiful, clean return to serve winner down the line. And that is going to set Whitworth up to potentially serve and close out this pro set. And they got the break right back. And so once again, it's St. Olaf. It's just kind of struggling to string those games together. And Whitworth continuing to keep their lead intact.
Whitworth did win that first doubles match.
Good update there. So we still got a lot on the line. And so if Erica can serve this out right now, it will be the doubles point, combined doubles point to Whitworth. But the work is yet to be done. The number threes continue to battle out there. And it's looking like, close set there as the score is updated on the scorecard.
Yep.
Looks like 5-4 for Whitworth.
Temperatures dropped, I would say, about 10 degrees maybe.
We're full clouds and no sun in the face anymore, and it is a little breezy and cool up here right now, so I'm sure the girls now luckily warmed up and it's not really affecting them. But sitting high atop the Collegiate Center, it's a little different.
And I really shouldn't complain, because I know that people that are watching this are probably from Minnesota or Seattle, and they're saying, are they crazy? They're sitting in Florida. I'd like to be sitting in Florida at 60-degree weather
degrees.
with 30-mile-an-hour winds. Maybe.
Overlooking Lake Nona.
You know, everyone asks me, so I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to wait a little bit. Everyone asks me where Lake Nona is, and they come to the campus, and sometimes they ask whether the man-made lake with the fountain is Lake Nona, and I'm like, no. Lake Nona is actually, this is the best place to get the view of Lake Nona.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a good view from the top of the admin building, right? From the USTA headquarters building, you can see the lake pretty well. And then from here as well, right?
This is definitely the best place to see it.
Yeah. And there's the first point to Whitworth in their attempt to serve this match out and secure that doubles point for their team. And it's Whitworth #1 Erica Lee serving it, so no better position for them to be in than to have your #1 serving for the doubles point. That's a good let go by Greta there. You know, she was going to try to get aggressive, but I think she held herself back, allowed Erica to get a ball in play and force the error from St. Olaf. So it's 30-love, getting ever closer.
I think what I'm going to do, we're going to get to the bottom of this Ole thing.
Okay.
We're going to get one of the players up here to explain what it is.
I think
and they better know.
Great decision. I'm sure it's part of their curriculum to know what an Ole is.
When they do replays, I'll just acknowledge it, but the kid would have a replay.
Another good point here.
Mm-hmm. Sabrina really looking to take charge of the net and just hook that one.
That's about the
a
third
little
one
wide, and I think that sets up triple match point.
I think Sabrina would like about 3 or 4 of those back, because I think actually those are the ones that she's actually missing, right? 5.
It's been a few, and I think they're probably a little uncharacteristic. But again, the conditions today might be, you know, throwing her out of whack just enough to produce those uncharacteristic errors. So here it is, triple match point for Whitworth on the #1 doubles. And there it is. Game, set, match to Whitworth. 8 games to 4 in the pro set on the #1 doubles position. And if Whitworth had indeed won the #2 position, that would secure the doubles point overall for them, as the #3s continue to kind of finish out their pro set. Getting a good look there at the Whitworth #1s in their post-match prep, so they'll get ready immediately to pretty much get going for the singles competition. They'll go over there and join their teammates on the center line of court #8 and root on their #3s, and looking for the clean sweep in the doubles, having already secured the point.
Yep. Okay.
Ooh.
Get some more of the teammates coming on to your view there if you're looking on at home. Get some of the St. Olaf team members heading out to join their teammates on court #8, which is a customary thing in the collegiate tennis world for the teams to line up on the side of their teams. We're going to take a short break now, as we know that doubles point has been secured, and we're going to come back with some singles action. So please continue to join us here at the National Campus Spring Break Tennis. Welcome back to the USTA National Campus here in lovely Lake Nona, Florida. Collegiate tennis, spring break tennis is what we're talking about today here on the campus, and it's St. Olaf versus Whitworth University. And we're moving into the singles portion of today's competition with the Whitworth Pirates having taken the doubles point and off to their early 1-love lead in this match. Joe Wallen, you're here next to me. I'm Paul Walker, and it is a blustery day on the campus, isn't it, Joe?
It is really blustery. It's getting up to about 30 miles an hour, the wind, and the temperature's gone down by about maybe 15 degrees in the last hour or so.
So we saw that the wind was a big factor in the doubles. We'll see how the girls transition into the singles and how they implement the elements into their game today, if they get frustrated or if they're able to deal with it. I would think it'll take a number of games for them to kind of get a feel for it. We're going to be giving you live singles coverage on courts 7 and 8, which will be the number 1 position and the number 2 positions between these two teams. On court number 7 for St. Olaf, it's Sabrina Barbosa versus Avery Lining. And on court number 8, Joe, it's Emma Jo Wiley from Whitworth versus Kellis Brandt from St. Olaf.
Kellis Brandt, I believe, is a senior and one of the co-captains of the team.
We did not see her in the 1 or 2 doubles matches, so she plays a little bit farther down in the doubles lineup, but up here playing number 2 in the singles. So might be a singles specialist. Her game a little bit possibly more tailored to the singles game. We're getting live coverage here on court number 7. At the number 1 position, as you see, a nice winner by Sabrina.
Nice drop shot.
Avery.
Yeah, see this drop shot coming up here. She really changed direction. Good timing to do that, actually, with the wind in her face, the drop shot, and pulling her in, and then just being able to open up and hit the ball to the open court. Actually, Sabrina seems to have settled down a little bit more since her doubles match.
Yeah, it was a question today whether or not she was going to even participate in the singles. It was kind of a game time decision the coach was going to make. She's had some little bit of an injury issue, but as we've mentioned earlier, we really haven't been able to see any evidence of anything. She's moving well, she's hitting well, so I'm glad that she's feeling better today. Might have just been travel related. Everybody's come a long way to get down here.
This is about the middle of their spring break. The St. Olaf coach was talking to me earlier today.
And there's a clean winner for the hold. Even the early going here at 1-all. Court number 7 at the USTA National Campus. This is the Collegiate Center, home to the University of Central Florida Knights. And what a great facility it is as part of this just magnificent national campus.
The Collegiate Center has 12 courts, all have play site. Holds about 12 to 1,500. I know that's a big difference. I can't remember which one it is. But for college game days, college nights, we call it Friday night under the lights. Really cool atmosphere when the whole place is absolutely packed with 12 to 1,500 people. Really cool atmosphere.
There's a unforced error on the first point of the 3rd game there, with Avery trying to hold serve for the 2nd time in the early going of this set. So collegiate tennis, the 3 doubles teams go out and play to get a combined point, and now we have 6 players, or 12 players total, but 6 courts full of players competing for the singles points, which would be a total of 7 points overall, ultimately leading some team to at least a 4-3 victory in this match. That's Whitworth with the 1 point on the board for the doubles already. And the slight edge. So if they just need to split the singles, Joe, and they will go home with the victory. See the left-hander, Avery leaning.
Toss just got a little bit away, obviously, in these windy conditions. Important to, you should see a lot of tosses being caught, because obviously with the wind, like that. With the wind and stuff, it's definitely, you've got to be very, very careful with the toss and making sure that you don't hit bad tosses, because that's when lots of double faults come into play too.
A couple of lefties at the top of the lineup for the Pirates of Whitworth. Avery and teammate Emma Jo Wiley, who we saw in the doubles earlier, both left-handed players, playing here at the number 1 and number 2 positions today.
I like the name Emma Jo.
Yeah.
You don't see many Joes in the U.S. That's why.
You
I
don't.
know it's a double name there, but you don't see many of them.
Oh, we're happy to have you, Joe. I know that much. Where'd you grow up, Joe? You want to share a little bit with our listeners where you were born and raised?
Florida. No, I'm just joking. I know I've got a funky accent, but originally from Birmingham, England, not Birmingham, Birmingham.
Lay it on us. Lay your best British accent on us.
I can't anymore.
You can't anymore?
See, I did a
Yeah, you
little
did.
bit there. If I really need to, I'll pronounce every letter, and then I'll get there.
Okay.
But grew up in Birmingham, I just said it, Birmingham, England. Went to Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy when I was 12. Way too young to go there, but at the time, it's good things.
Seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Yep, seemed like the right thing to do. Spent a lot of time, spent 5 years full scholarship there, learned a lot. And then went on the Pro Tour, played for, again, way too long there, but once again, learned a lot, wouldn't change anything. And then I moved to Lexington, Kentucky, so that's where my southern y'all accent comes in.
Oh, I can hear it.
And then 3 years, coming up to 3 years, made my move here, where I've been now in Orlando. So for almost 3 years, where director of adult individual play, so adult tournaments is the best way to explain that, and wheelchair tennis.
Yeah, great. And so tennis is your life. I mean, tennis is your life. So we're switching over to court number 8 right now. Get a little look into this match between Emma Jo and Kellis Brandt.
Both lefties again.
Both lefties, a battle of lefties.
They actually play very similar. Lots of net clearance, both of them.
Yeah, they're looking to grind it out a little bit here today, aren't they?
They definitely are.
Coach making her way across the court there.
Good story. The coach took maternity leave the whole of last year. Started her family.
Yeah, men's coach took over both the programs for the year. Got some great teamwork there, covering each other's back.
Love to see that. I mean, obviously in the tennis industry, the female coaches are not as prevalent as male coaches, and sometimes people ask why, and I say that they go have a baby, and it's not as easy for them to leave their children at home as it is for a man still in that world. So that's nice to see that she took some time off to have a baby and now is back coaching. It's good for the female coaching side.
Emma Jo really getting in tight on that return to serve there, trying to gain an early advantage, but Kellis kind of neutralizes her and sends her back to the baseline and lets the baseline rally begin. You're trying to figure out who's who. If they're in the white skirt, that's the Whitworth Pirates, and in the all black, it is the St. Olaf Oles. We've yet to get an official breakdown of what an Ole is.
We're going to get that. That's going to be my job.
Yeah. There's the classic lefty serve out wide, drawing the air off the backhand side from Sabrina. And that's just that advantage lefties have, that if they utilize it, it's a nice weapon to have. So far with her serving up the tee on the deuce side and out wide on the ad side, she's been pretty consistent with her approach to creating those left-handed advantages. And there's an unforced error on the return to serve. 30-15 in favor of Avery. Got to think that this is got to be one of the highlights of both of these teams' years, to come down here to the national campus, venture far away from home, and get to come down for a week of spring break tennis. What a great joy, part of their collegiate experience.
There's like You said it earlier, there's been over 300 teams that have come here to play spring break tennis, all different levels, from D3s all the way up to top 10 D1 schools. And it's interesting when they come in. There's so many people taking pictures outside the Welcome Center.
I saw some of the Whitworth girls earlier when they came in, just outside the Collegiate Center over here. There's a little place, and they took a picture with the little lake in the background, and all smiles at that time, but a lot of serious faces out there right now in the midst of competition.
A couple weeks ago, I was waiting for our veterans program that we have here on campus to start, and I was sitting in the lobby, and it must have been in between matches, and there was a bunch of girls standing there, and Madison Keys walked in to get her rackets restrung, so she left her car out front, and a couple of girls noticed her, and they were like, oh, you could just see in their eyes lit up, and they were talking to each other like, is that Madison Keys? That Madison Keys? And
one of the great points there on court 7 in the number 1s, just to interrupt your story, Joe.
No, that's all right.
Real good ground stroke battle there, eventually with the point going to Avery and the game. So we're gonna see if we can get the updated score there. Looks like it might be looks like 3-2 somebody makes the change here.
So they were looking,
yep,
and
3-2 Whitworth.
They were looking, and they said, you could hear him say, is that Madison? Is that Madison? They looked at me, and I was like, yeah, it is. And then they were like, I wonder if we can go ask her for a picture. Well, they did. They went over there, and Madison was very kind and took the picture, but that was a major highlight for them. That's great to see here. I mean, we've talked about it before. We've got lots of different people on different types.
Great shot of the 4-3 score update on court number 7, the number 1 singles between Whitworth University and St. Olaf. And it's 4-3 for Whitworth on the changeover. Been a pretty back and forth match. Good first singles match right there.
Switching over to court number 8 now. Again, I think Emma Jo's getting a little bit frustrated here. Kellis is very calm when she plays.
Yeah, honestly, right? She just has that real simple demeanor of like, you got to bring the game to me, and I'm just going to counter punch it back over and keep things in play. Really a grinder. A lot of times you'll see that maybe at the number 2 position, where the number 1s just have a little bit more firepower, but the number 2s are the ones that just kind of drive people crazy. And currently it's Kellis doing a little bit of that to Emma Jo.
Back over to court number 7, our number 1s. Sun coming out a little bit, which is probably good for players to heat up a little bit.
It's
good for us.
Yeah, we're going to get some shadows there a little bit, but yeah, I can feel the difference. What a difference, huh? You mentioned that it may have dropped 15 degrees. I'm feeling it going up quickly here as it peaks out. Yeah, it was a full cloud. Now we're pretty much burning them off again. I think with the wind, things are moving quickly up in the atmosphere. So it looks like I have a slight correction. It is St. Olaf, 4-3 up over Whitworth on court number 7. So that's Sabrina Barbosa with the 1-game lead, serving to extend that lead over Avery. Leaning.
Little Sabrina, a little slow getting up to that ball, letting it drop too low.
Yeah, that's that trick today with when do you make your setup? When do you get in, settle the feet down eventually? And might have just been a little early on that one. Forced her to reach 15 all.
Again, good return from Avery, just blocking it short, didn't have to do too much. The wind actually did most of that, and Sabrina not getting her feet up to that. These two teams are not as loud with their team cheer. Is that the right word to say? As a lot of the other teams have been.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm, as mentioned, been around collegiate tennis, as you have a lot here on campus, and some teams come in and really bring the thunder. I mean, and it's fun, it's great, but these two are all maybe focused up. Maybe it's a little bit them being out of their comfort zone, kind of this neutral site, not sure how to handle it exactly, but certainly we'll see if we can get it cranked up as the singles matches go a little bit deeper and the match becomes a little bit more intense. It's always nice when it starts to shrink down and you've got 1 or 2 matches going on, and there's still everything's in play. If we get to a 3-all situation and there's 1 match left, that's when it's at its best. A couple of break point opportunities here for Avery, and she's going to get a good look at a second serve here. Chance to even this first set at 4-all possibly. She got a pretty good look at a forehand, but didn't do as much as she'd liked with it. Put it in the net, but she still got another break point. She trots up there, has pretty good demeanor. I like her body language. Didn't get too upset about that return of serve error. Looks like she's got some pretty good positive talk going there. How critical is that, Joe? You know, playing on the pro tour, being a coach, all those things. How critical is that to the success of individual players?
I mean, I would say that it's at least 60% of it. I mean, obviously if you've got 2 different levels out on the court playing, then that's not going to be the case. But if you've got levels that are very similar, like actually all these, I think these girls' levels are actually pretty similar here. You've got someone that's got a better mind, that fights, that has a better demeanor. You know, 9 times out of 10, they're going to come through. They don't, I mean, it's a visual on the outside, obviously. You look at someone and you say, okay, they're not getting bothered. But it's just on the inside. They stay positive. They're not getting worried about making mistakes. They're not getting frustrated. So then when it comes to time to produce 5-all in the second set, they're not worried about it because they can let it go.
Attempted drop shot there by Avery. Falls just short into the net, and we're back to deuce again. This is one of those games that's setting up to be kind of critical. And if Sabrina can get the hole and extend to a 5-3 lead, that might put her well on the way to the first set, but we can get to 4-all.
Is this the 7th game?
Uh-oh. Fairly critical. Yeah, it's just a big swing, isn't it? It's just the time in the set when things are kind of get to a little bit of a critical moment. But
good try there from Sabrina, trying to open up the court, just pulled off a little bit. As well, like, you know, we've seen a lot of mistakes with girls moving forwards, and just in general, the girls move so much better laterally on the tennis court than they do up and back.
So what you're saying is young ladies at home who are starting out get good on the vertical game as well, going back and forth, up and back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just a horizontal game. Exactly right. Learn to use the whole court. And here we are back to deuce again. As we mentioned, in collegiate tennis, Division I and Division II, they wouldn't be going back and forth between deuce and ad. It would be get to deuce one time, and their returner chooses the side, and we play a deciding point, no ad scoring, and really kind of speeds things up and is really pretty much something that can dictate winning and losing a match. You get 3 or 4 deciding points in a set, and you come away on the low end of that. That is a big swing. We work a lot on that back home at Florida Southern with the visualization of what you're going to do on those deciding points with your serve or with your return. We try to get the girls to all kind of have really solid game plans as to how they want to attack those critical points.
So let me ask you about that as a coach as well. So you know, you said on those critical game points having an action plan, basically saying, okay, so does that when you talk to the girls about that, do you talk about about going to their strengths or to their opponent's weaknesses?
Well, first, my thought is to set up to your strengths, because that's the one thing you can control. Now, if there's something that you've perceived in the course of that match that says, all right, this is what's been working. I mean, I normally like to serve out wide, but she's got a massive forehand waiting for me out there, and that's been her strength all day. I might go to my plan B, which is my second best, and so maybe I kind of try to bring something into the backhand. But yeah, just mainly just to have them have a picture of what they like to do based on their strength first, and then how it matches up with the opponent's possible weakness.
Yeah, that's an interesting coaching philosophy somewhat, because you hear a lot of coaches too say, okay, you may do this because your opponent is weaker with this, but it may be you have to serve volley or drop shot because your opponent can't move forwards because they're not strong, and that's just not something you're comfortable at doing. And I think that's sometimes hard as a coach because you got to find that fine line. But I think as well, I would agree with you 100%, you go to your strengths unless there's something like majorly where, but again, when it comes down to it on a break point or a deuce point, like what you were talking about, the pressure's on and no one's perfect. They're not going to hit that shot. And if they do, they may get it, 20% of the time, but they could miss it the other chance too.
Yeah. It's mainly just to kind of put them into a calm state, in other words, just quiet their minds and say, all right, I've got a plan here, versus just playing that point, which again, we've mentioned is so critical. Nice drop shot.
Yep.
Avery's on it. And great job by Sabrina right there to pull Avery in, go up and over. Avery not able to answer at the overhead. And the game continues. Sabrina with another point to hold. Go up 5-3. This is one of those back and forth deuce games to me that just, it almost doesn't matter where it happens, even if it's not in the critical, game of the match. Whenever it happens, when it goes back and forth this long, these games tend to be so decisive. Whoever wins it just really gets the momentum.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned before that I was watching some college spring break matches a couple weeks ago, and a girl that I used to work with plays for UNC Wilmington, and in her doubles match, out of the games, they had 5 games that went to deuce, and they lost all 5 of them. That's 5 different points.
No recovering from that.
And that's a different thing as well when you're coaching college tennis now. That's the sort of stuff you've got to be thinking about working on too. Those points, because obviously those 5 points.
Oh, big backhand by Avery.
Great
cross court there, just chasing Sabrina out of the court with no answer. And it's now Avery leaning with a break chance. The back and forth game continues. Neither one of these players looking to give in right here. I think they're both sensing how critical things are right now. Just wide, and there's the break, and we are at 4-all on court number 7 in the #1 singles between St. Olaf and Whitworth. Sabrina Barbosa versus Avery leaning. As the sun continues to bust through and light up all the courts, you can see all the courts pretty well lit up in the sunshine right now. So the girls are getting what they came for here in the state of Florida. A little bit of sunshine. So 4 games all here on court number 7, #1 singles. Watching Avery's footwork here, Joe. She's good. She's putting the work in. I mean, a little unforced error there, but I like the way she moves. She's got a good base, got good balance, keeps the feet moving pretty quick.
Just had a beautiful view there of the court 7 side of the Collegiate Center.
$15-all. A little outburst on court number 8. there's another example of the short ball giving somebody a problem, and it's Sabrina who puts the ball in the net. It was almost Avery with a little drop shot that started to float a little bit, but didn't quite get enough wind and float wide, so it worked out well for her. And she's inching forward in this service game. The chance to take the lead back on this next changeover. Flip the scoreboard in her favor. Sabrina taking a little extra time over there, just kind of trying to gather herself, knowing that things are kind of slipping a little bit. And there's a forehand sprayed a little long.
Yeah, yeah. Actually a good swing.
Yeah, she's put a lot of good swings on it. She looks very comfortable on the forehand side. I really like her forehand. Really good technical looking shot for her. Flattens it out a little bit when she needs to. Put some good spin on it. Yeah, I think it's definitely the strength of her game, what she likes to try to dictate with. Great serve. There's that great serve up the tee. Goes with the volley behind Sabrina for the clean winner. A little fist pump and come on as she sets herself up for a potential point to go up 5-4.
Like that she let that toss go there. Didn't have to hit bad tosses.
Easy pass for Sabrina, and a very sportsmanlike racket clap from
Avery.
Avery, yeah. We've had a lot of names floating around in the wind here today, and I just had that moment. Thanks for the pickup, Joe. Yep, nice little hand clap by Avery. I'd like to see that good sportsmanship when their opponents actually do something well. There's Sabrina not moving her feet, kind of reaching on that one. Kind of classic, right, Joe?
Yep, absolutely. It's going to do that today. It's one thing I would definitely work on as a coach with her, is making her get up to those shorter balls, because she gets lots of them. She's got some big weapons. She creates the opportunity for the short ball and just is not moving up to it, and it's making it more difficult in the wind.
Tell you, that's really surprisingly, we haven't had a lot of double faults here today in difficult conditions. That's one we just saw right there from Avery, but I give the girls a lot of credit because it hasn't been all that common in tough conditions. Here we are, locked in another deuce game. Return a serve a little bit aggressive there, kind of hooked it just a little bit wide, and so a chance for Avery to get right up there and throw a serve in and maybe get a hold. And there it is. She is fired up and now leading 5-4 on the changeover.
Okay, Mr. Walker, I got your answer.
There it is. Good. I knew you would.
So how do you say, what have they been saying to each other? Go Owlies?
Oles? Oles.
Okay. So what's their mascot, though? What did you?
I think it's a lion.
Yeah. So that's the name of the lion.
Oh, so the name of the lion is Ole.
Yeah.
So they are the St. Olaf Lions, and their lion's name is Ole.
Yes.
And they got an actual lion up there on the campus?
About that?
Do you know if they got an actual lion that lives with them up there?
I would hope not.
Why not?
Could be a little bit dangerous.
I mean, you know.
I mean, the Florida Gators, do they have gators? Do they have a gator that lives on?
I'm sure there's a gator on campus somewhere.
Well, I'm sure there is too. That probably wasn't the right one to use, right? Minnesota Vikings? Where did I get that from? I don't know why. I'm just trying to think of different names.
Well,
the Vikings, maybe, as well.
sure
the team doesn't have a Viking that lives with them.
Coaches sitting there with their players on the sideline, giving a little instruction, calming down oftentimes. It's more about management oftentimes, but that's looking like a pretty good conversation between Avery and her coach right there. And she's saying, hey, all right, looking for a little service break.
Good story there too, with Rachel being the, as you said, taking a year off from maternity leave, but also playing as well for the team.
Yeah, very, very accomplished player at the university. And then pretty remarkable, I mean, it listed in her bio as she's an adjunct professor at 2 different institutions, at Gonzaga in music and somewhere else in psychology.
Pretty cool.
Show the St. Olaf campus camera. We're about to show that for you.
Well, there's a little shot of the St. Olaf campus. Beautiful Minnesota. A little bit cloudy up there today, but a little bit of sun, blue sky as well, but definitely not springtime yet.
I was going to say, there's no snow on the ground there, right?
They're happy there isn't, but that could change any minute now, I suspect, with the way things go up there sometimes. One of our national coaches, John Ryberg, lives up in Minnesota, and he's sent me a picture here recently of them shoveling their tennis courts.
Wow.
So that was just yesterday, as a matter of fact, so they're not far off.
Very cool that we're able to do that and link in to...
Yeah, great shot there. Gives us a little feel of home for maybe that will spurn Sabrina on to holding serve here and staying alive in this first set. Just knowing we're talking about her campus back home. First point to Avery there to take the early lead in this game. Sabrina's still looking pretty calm. She's just hold serve to get it to 5-all. That's a volley that Avery just kind of punched a little bit, and the wind took the rest. Turned it from a winner into an unforced error. 15-all. And once again, it's Sabrina dropping things short, and Avery having to deal with the wind at her back and trying to get the ball up and over the net, pushing it long.
So when you're playing against the wind too, that shorter low ball, whether it's a slice or it's flatter and shorter and low, is always good, because then it's making the other person have to hit up, and that's when the wind takes it. And
2 times in a row right there, yeah. But it's Avery back to the big high spinning forehand, forcing the Sabrina error. Get us to 30-all here. Both players taking a little time to compose themselves, knowing that we're getting into crunch time here in this game, in this set, this first set of the #1 singles. We'll see how aggressive Avery's going to get on this second serve right here to try to give herself a break chance to take this first set. I think she's going to get a little aggressive. And there's another one, just a little too much air. Once it gets up above those wind screens, it flies. And now instead of a break opportunity, it's a chance for Sabrina to hold, get this first set tied up at 5 games all. Erica Lee in the stands cheering on her teammates.
Great,
Whitworth teammates, loudly and proudly. And there's the hold from Sabrina, and we're knotted at 5 games all. First set continues. Great battle here on number 1. Double fault by Avery. First point of the 11th game of this first set. Things might be starting to get a little tight for the both of these girls down here, as it has really been a back and forth seesaw battle between the two. Both players having moments of real greatness and then, you know, getting a little loose and making a few errors, but that's a big forehand cross court for Avery there, forcing the error and getting it to 15 all.
Great point there from Avery. Whitworth set it up nicely with that forehand. Good amount of spin, got up to it. Good heavy spin from back. She's far back in the court right there. Another ball, just heavy and high to keep going to Sabrina's backhand, and then really staying aggressive on that short ball. Good spin, good consistency, good height over the net. 15-30. Again, lack of footwork there from Avery in this wind. She's kept her feet moving really well so far in the wind, but that one just kind of stuck her feet down too early. Again, Avery missing that high ball. Whenever she puts the ball up too high, she's not quite understanding the wind and how much she actually has to take off of it. I mean, we're at 30-mile-an-hour gusts pretty much right now, so she's definitely got to understand that a little bit. Avery getting frustrated with that. There's the break.
Yeah, let's go, Grace.
6-5 to St. Olaf and the Lions.
Yeah.
I have a hard time pronouncing saying Oles. I don't know. Am I saying it right? Is my accent funny with that?
Great job by Sabrina. She was a couple of points away from having already lost this set. Now she's in a position to take it. Coaches earning their pay right now, and the changeovers at 6-5 and 5-6 respectively. Putting some time in with their players. Sabrina using her full 90-second change over there to make sure she has a good game plan going into this opportunity to close the set out. It's either that or we go to the tiebreaker.
Yes.
So we'll see how it plays out right here. It's the wind kicking up stronger than it has in a little while, Joe.
Here you go, Sally.
Good hands.
Avery with the let cord winner. She knows that one was close to coming back. She gives the obligatory apology and heads back and takes her point. Let serve. And Sabrina with the forehand error in the net gives Avery a chance to get out to a good 30-love lead here.
It's funny, the girls seem to be having more of an issue with the wind at the back.
For sure.
That usually is the easier end.
It's high and spin it in, or not too high, but just spin it in, right? Drop shot with the wind. That's gonna fly. Yep.
It's not also the right end to hit a drop shot into either.
No.
You don't want to be with the wind hitting a drop shot.
Yeah, that was the worst combo possible right there. Dropping in with the wind at your back and then trying to lob with the wind at your back. And we see the results of that choice. And here it is, triple break point to force the tiebreaker. And just keep the drama building here on court number 7 at the #1 singles position between Sabrina Barbosa and Avery Leaning. Love 40. Avery getting a little aggressive there and shoots that ball deep. But she's still got a couple break points to work with. And Sabrina, who keeps the pressure on with a good first serve, and now those 3 break points are down to 1. Always amazed at how quickly that 40-love lead can disappear.
Big gust there as well.
Yep, we'll see.
That's a great drop shot.
Oh, and that was just unfortunate. It was a great driving forehand by Sabrina that just Avery just fought off and just barely got it back over. It wasn't an intended drop shot. She just didn't know everything she could to get it over the net, and really worked out well for her. Great effort by Sabrina. Away we go to the tiebreaker. 6 games all. 12-point tiebreaker, first to 7, win by 2. Change ends after a cumulative 6 points. Nice rally there. Both players swinging pretty free and easy, but it's Sabrina with the forehand error, and the 1-love lead in the tiebreaker to Avery.
Sabrina's, what you were talking about body language there, it's a little bit getting a little bit negative after that point.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, a little disappointed, I think, with letting that set get away from her with the service game. And I think that she knows she hit a good shot that one point there at the end of that last game. She hit a great shot and didn't get rewarded for it, as Avery just fought that one over and got the drop shot.
That's part of it, though, right? Though, having a good mental attitude. Yeah, you were up there and then lost it, and you know that's just what happens. But you can either go downhill like now, like that. Again, that was a really bad shot selection right there, and then the attitude afterwards too, just very negative.
Short memory can come in handy here in this sport. Being able to dismiss things quickly, great attribute. Easier said than done. Love serving 2. Avery calls a let.
Called a let on there, Avery. Yeah, I mean, I saw the towel coming before she even started serving, and I did hear Avery call the let on that.
Yeah, tie that thing down back there, Sabrina. She stuffs it underneath the fence. Really went after that first serve. You could hear the crack on the tape. Didn't get it, so here she's looking at a tough second serve now.
That's the one where I would have loved to see Avery just get that ball back into play. I mean, you've just gotten 2 unforced errors from someone that's really, really upset that they lost that last game. Started off the tiebreak was, you know, just on the negative side, and then just dumped that return into the net. Still up 2-1 though.
Yeah, she's been serving well, so we'll see if she can get a mini hold here by getting both of her service points. Frames that forehand. One of the few that we've seen her not hit cleanly today. She's been pretty strong on that side.
She's surprised there haven't been more.
And we'll see how she responds now to the couple of back-to-back unforced errors. 2-all. It's Sabrina who produces the good deep ball into the corner. No response from Avery. Response in the net. And the score gets flipped over 3-2 in favor of St. Olaf.
Actually saw a good pump of the fist as well from Sabrina there after she won that point.
She got the heart of a lion, Joe.
Huh.
You know she does. All the St. Olaf players do.
That drop shot again.
Oh, she's got away with that one.
Got away with it. Got away with it.
Oh.
Ooh. Don't think she really meant to do that.
Not to that extent. Coach gives her a little
reprimand from the coach there too, I think. I think the coach kind of looked at her like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And here we are, 4-2 on the changeover. So the first 2 points to Avery, but the 4 straight to Sabrina. Clear momentum now in favor of St. Olaf.
Obviously, spring break tennis is great. Lots of colleges here. Next weekend we have the Tennis on Campus Spring Invitational coming here. So there'll be a couple 100 kids for Tennis on Campus. And I don't know if anyone's seen Tennis on Campus out there, but super cool program. We're in about 765 schools. and it's just super fun. They play World Team Cup style, boys and girls, and high energy, and it's just so fun to watch. I highly suggest that next week you check out the live stream on all of the courts if you can, just to watch. It's a super fun atmosphere as well.
What are the ages for that, Joe?
It's still college tennis. It's considered, so it would be from your 18 to 22-ish.
Right. So that's the kind of the club level players?
Yeah, the club, that's exactly what
there
it
is. Exactly. Okay, good. That's a lot of good tennis too. There's some really good players out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're looking at, you're looking at, I was actually really surprised last year to watch it. You're looking at, 5-0 players. I mean, some of the guys were really, really strong, but they're coming from a Duke and a Florida, so you look at the people that are getting scholarships and playing on their teams. It's like, I mean, they're as strong as this team.
Oh yeah, clearly players that could play anywhere, almost anywhere in collegiate tennis, if they chose to and said, hey, I want to make that a priority. They just,
And remember, a lot of collegiate players or high school players, when they go choose to play tennis, they've played through their junior career and they just don't want that highly competitive level anymore. So tennis on campus is a great way for them to still have competition, still be part of a team, make friends, but not be the intense level that some of these teams have to be when you're competing at that high level or what you've done as a junior.
Yep. So 3-4 for Avery serving now. And it's Sabrina who's got the answers right now. 3-5. A couple points away from taking this tiebreaker in first set.
Yeah, and great return there, short and low.
Yeah, and it's Avery who's trying to be aggressive, but it's Sabrina who's coming away with the points.
Yep.
Just getting steady, and she's now a number of points to take this tiebreaker in first set with a 6-3 advantage in serving.
A little long.
And there it is. Game in first set. St. Olaf, Sabrina Barbosa, 7-6.
Great comeback.
7-3 in the tiebreak.
Great comeback there in that tiebreak. I like the way she changed her mentality and mind around in that after those first two unforced errors.
There's the high five from the coach, telling her great job. But I would say that this match is anything but over. So, Joe, I understand you're going to be leaving us, and just want to say thank you for the time you were able to spend with us, all the great knowledge you were able to share with us today on the broadcast. So we'll miss you.
Always a pleasure, and I have to go to my mom duties as soccer mom.
I understand. Yeah. And hey, let's get the kids to Disney sometime soon, okay?
That's awful to say. I will talk to you soon, and appreciate you being out here, and I know that you're going to have another good set at least in your pocket.
Well, Joe, thank you for joining us for spring break tennis here at the USTA National Campus. And we might have to end our coverage here sometime soon without you. So thanks for watching, everybody.